So in this video, we're going to quickly review some updates on the test that Mark has been running on this Spokane professional painters. And in this test, he was following a method that was in a recent training that has been released that involved generating YouTube videos and these various direction links and so on that we'll dig into a little bit more in a minute, and making YouTube videos with them. So first, let's just go to the end and look at kind of one of these YouTube videos and then the YouTube channel. So if we go here to the YouTube video, you'll see there's a video here. Then there is also a playlist that these videos are on. And I'm not going to go into the entire strategy, but essentially there's all these videos made with the professional painters targeted keywords, and in these video descriptions there are the links and NAP and other information that was generated for this listing. So we have an address here. This address is not the actual address of the listing. This is a service area business, and this is I don't believe the address that it was actually verified at. But if we look at the listing here, it's just a service area, so there's not an actual address. Now, for reference, this address that we're actually having the driving directions to, I believe is somewhere down here. We'll take a look at that right now. So, first of all, there's the neighborhood maps link that's generated, which is just a map of essentially the target neighborhood. And then there's this Google link generated, which is a direct link to the neighborhood with the keyword. And we have our map CID, the website, and then here's these direction links. So there's a directions from the neighborhood to the business here. And then there's also directions from that's directions to the neighborhood, and then this is directions from the neighborhood back to the business. So this is essentially the area that you can say we were optimizing for from a location standpoint. So if we go back and look over here, that's about down over here, right? Let's see, where did that? Okay, so yeah, that's down right over here. Here it is. Here's where we're located. So, with that kind of understanding of the big picture overview of what was done, we now have these YouTube videos with the NAP and all this stuff, the keywords professional painters, and we are looking at the current results. So just looking at the GeoGrids first, here's, I think, a very zoomed out view. This is what we've been tracking mostly from the beginning, a very high up view. And if we go back, initially I didn't feel like we were really seeing much results because, as you can tell, there's all these other keywords in here. Well, not all these, but some of these other ones. And we haven't seen any movement at all. This is the only one right here that we've actually seen any movement on, you can say, since we started the test. But there was initial rankings at first, which means that I don't really know if it was due to the test or not. The one thing that I have noticed that we've been tracking since January 30th around, As the optimization was done, you can see we have a little bit showing here, kind of in the location initially. But as more of these were built, it does look like we had a little bit more start to pop up, especially more in the kind of area down over here where we were building the links to. Well, I would say the driving directions too. See, we kind of got more down here. So there definitely appears to be some kind of movement there. If we look at painting contractors again, it's popping in like the same exact spot down over here. And if we zoom all the way in, let's see, where are the actual driving directions? I think they're down over here. Constantly getting lost here. Where do we go? Okay, let's zoom out a little. So right over here is where we're located, and we're seeing not too far off where we're popping a little bit there. And this one, again, we didn't see anything in the beginning. We were zoomed in way over there. But even when we zoomed out, you can see that we didn't have anything for a bit, and then just started to have something pop in there. None of these other ones really showed anything at all yet, which is again why there was some question as to what we were really seeing. I believe, let me check, one of these we had zoomed out a little bit to see what might have really been happening. And as you can see, that way down south here, we actually were getting some initial rankings for Painter. We only were checking since February 8th here, so not as long. But we're clearly ranking further south than north, which would kind of make sense. We have a suspicion that the listing was maybe verified more down this area, but I don't believe we know the exact location. So this is just a more zoomed out view. Again, this is since February 8th. We've actually been going back for a while now into January, when end of January-ish, somewhere in there, I think, when we just started running these tests. So I did do some recent GeoGrids, a little more zoomed in, and so right here I've actually placed the center of the GeoGrid exactly where the driving directions was built to. So if I go back over here and we look here, this is the exact area that the is it this node right here? Yep, is right here. So this will give us a little bit more, I guess, in-depth view of kind of where we're at right now. I did just start running these GeoGrids, so we don't have too much data. I added some other keywords as well. We have exterior home painting. We can see very clearly kind of popping down here a little bit more. Not exactly where we were building the directions to, just a little bit this way. Interior house painting, that one's a little more all over. Office painting service paints a little bit more of a paints a better picture. So we again do have some more right over here. It looks like on the exact node where we were building the driving directions, we're not ranking as well, but still there definitely seems to be a little bit more centralization kind of in this area. If it's due to the driving directions or that optimization, I can't say for sure. One thing we do know is that we've built some directions from up north and all over here, and we're mostly seeing these results going south so far, but we do see some of these more up north popping. So we're going to keep tracking it and see if we can find any correlation between kind of where we see these nodes going off and maybe where we're building driving directions. So far, I do feel there might be some type of correlation in the place the driving directions are being built to and possibly some other things there. The YouTube video we're speculating is probably the biggest reason that we're getting a push, if any. Professional painters, this is the one that we were just looking at here. Specifically, if we look at the YouTube videos, they have spoken professional painters. So we'll track some more keywords, but I want to dig a little bit more into the nodes that are triggering for professional painters as well. See if we can find some more correlation there with what's being built. But with that said, I think that's a pretty good summary of where we're at with this test at the moment.